wanted to talk about safety and precautionary features that come in cars these days. I'm mainly talking about the merits and demerits of ADAS. Cars these days come with like emergency braking, predictive braking, blind spot monitors, departure braking, parking brakings, like all of these form of like preventive brakings, which I think are great preventive measures that are now put in cars. In fact, I'm sure you've heard of like NCAP, global NCAP safety ratings. All of those actually are now slowly adopting these preventive measures in accidents. And if a car does not have these preventive braking features, then they'll actually score the car a lot lower than what it would have gotten. So originally cars were rated in things like braking distance from like movement to stop, how properly the crumple zones in the front of the car like absorb, how well they absorb the impact upon an accident, how well safety bags deploy and protect your passengers in the car, drivers in the front seat, at the back seat, how well kids are protected in the back seat, and also things like when and if your car does hit a pedestrian on the road, how well or how badly is the pedestrian hit. Like the mold, the front body shape, if you've noticed, they're never like angular and straight designs. They're always like soft, smooth, rounded designs, one for aerodynamics but also for like pedestrian safety in the case that your car does hit an oncoming pedestrian. Also, your B pillar that's in the middle of the car, upon side impacts, how well does that crumple and like absorb the impact and protect passengers on the inside? The C pillar, which is at the back between the back seat and the end of the car, how well does that? And there's also like several pillars that run horizontally to the car, as well as two vertical pillars usually that run on the length of the car. So how well does all of this work in like protecting you as well as people outside? But now we have this whole ADAS and like preventive features as well, and I think that's great. Like when you're on the road, if something can help you prevent an accident, if a sensor can detect something up ahead and suddenly hit the brakes for you, you can in no way compare machine reflexes, like the time it takes for like a software to decide something, versus you yourself as a human being. Human reflexes, no matter how fast you train them, can never compete with that of a machine. But and this is a big but that I emphasize, because this is Nepal, this is Kathmandu, this is South Asia. A lot of these ADAS features are preventive, but the nature of our traffic is so chaotic just to begin with that they may not just work, but also overwork. And that's not good. By overwork, I mean they might just slam on the brakes predicting some sort of accident to happen. You know how people just randomly cross the road, or like a bike will just do a U-turn, a bus will just cut lanes, and they'll just slam on the brakes, and your parking brakes, emergency brakes, your brakes, any sort of brakes are activated. And the thing is, as a motorist, you know that bike or person what they're trying to do, but the software may or may not know that. Like right now, I have been just letting pedestrians cross the road because there aren't any like proper zebras and stuff in Nepal for like pedestrians to always cross the road, and so you have to, as a human, predict what people are doing on the road, especially when driving in city areas, Kathmandu, Pokhara, Birtamod, the bigger cities, Biratnagar, Itahari. You always have to be predicting what others are also going to be doing, and that prediction thing is something that softwares don't have yet. Maybe AI will, achieve it at some point in the future, but today, early 2020s, it's nowhere close. And the thing is, in societies abroad, and I'm talking about where roads are paved wide, lane markings are all there, pedestrian crossing zonings are mandated, U-turns are mandated or not allowed, everything. That's well and fine. Like a Tesla, the Tesla autopilot, I'm sure you've heard of that, right? Yeah, they work just fine. If you ask me, there's no biggie in what a Tesla can achieve by working its autopilot feature on the highway. But in Nepal's context, you use that same camera for Tesla and its sensors, its radar, LiDAR sensors, whatever it uses. I've test driven most of the Teslas in town. My content is on TikTok, the Tesla content, and basically what happens is there's a screen that shows an after image of all the different types of cars and vehicles incoming that the car senses. And if you check Nepal's, it is just complete madness. There's like 50 people walking around. There are different types of vehicles. There are no lane markings. Tesla really uses lane markings to guide itself. None of that is there, and as a result, your display on a Tesla is just everywhere. And it does pick up a lot of things, but it also does not pick up a lot of things, unfortunately. And I think that's the sense of what I get in terms of what these ADAS sensors might also get when enabled in Nepal. Sure, they will work. Like, I don't doubt it working. When it predicts something to hit a car, then it will stop, like, no doubt. But the problem is that not everything is out to hit you in Nepal, and a lot of things are just predictive. Maybe it'll hit you, maybe it'll not hit you, and so you just have to drive carefully. And that is where I see the problem. So there's actually been a couple of accidents in Nepal where, I don't know how to tell it, but the safety ADAS features just unlocked, like it just opened up, and as a result what happened was the car just braked, and because of that, people behind didn't have the opportunity to like brake, because the people behind were not predicting a car to like stop. And so at the end, what caught the people behind off guard and caused an accident was just the nature of the unpredicted braking done by the ADAS systems. Like, I saw a whole post about it. I'll share it with you. It was quite scary, honestly. Like, I am not even kidding. I don't know, Nepali roads, I don't know whether it'll work that well. But anyway, that's just what I wanted to give you a heads up. So when you do get a car, sure, ADAS systems will be good preventive measures, but please always drive alerted and always pay attention to your surroundings, and just don't say your car has all of these settings that would help X, Y, and Z. And so when you do buy a car, just be careful about all the bings and bongs it'll give. Like in my review, in my car reviews, there have been numerous instances where I'm driving and I know the car will just be fine, but because of all these bings and bongs, I myself end up a bit confused. Like, I panic a bit, in the sense it just alerts me something because I'm too near something, or I'm like, something's approaching at a very fast speed, and I'm just like, oh no, what happened? Like, it startles me in a sense. And some cars do have the feature of turning all these sensors on and off, and some cars just don't. So please, when you do test drive things, don't just look after the comfort and like mobility and ground clearance and range and like fuel economy. Also look out for like how distracting these ADAS settings can or may not get. It's something that I definitely do recommend. Anyway, if you liked what you heard today, let me know what you think about it. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.